Hello there. I've been gone for a week. Um, and by gone I mean I haven't made a video. I didn't really go anywhere. I just really didn't feel like making another video on this without someone's help. Um, and last night I was at Ignition, and I don't know, someone brought it up and it just made me feel like I gotta do this, even though it's hard, even though um, I don't think I'm going to be able to do all of this. I'm going to try. What I am going to do is I'm going to change this from being a Bible study to more of a first impressions on this book. Okay. Um, so right now I'm actually really excited. We're on chapter 3, where Job finally speaks after the 2 weeks of silence. And the reason I'm excited is because this part, there's like, most people know the beginning of Job and they know the end of Job, and like the center is all gibberish. It's all just a whole bunch of talking that's not necessarily, like, to people, not very important. People look at this passage and just think about it for the message it portrays, but there's so much in here. Like, there's just dialogue and dialogue and dialogue and dialogue and like more dialogue. Let me see. More dialogue. 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 You understand the point of this? I'm on chapter, like, I'm just scrolling through all the chapters. Dialogue, chapter 20, dialogue. 21, dialogue. 22, there's series of speeches. It's not, like, they call them series. Dialogue. Dialogue. More dialogue, a whole ton of dialogue from Job. Elihu gets angry. More dialogue, 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 dialogue. Finally, like, the Lord says something cool. He's been watching. Dialogue, dialogue. And literally, it's only till halfway through the last chapter that we're done with all the talking. And it tells us what happens. So the first 2 chapters are Job's life put in turmoil. The next 39 chapters are dialogue. And then we finally see in the last chapter Job restored. So there's 39 chapters of dialogue. Clearly, what is being said is very important. And I think we need to take in all of it. So let me get back. Chapter 3. And we're going to just read through chapter 3. Okay? Job's opening speech. After this, Job began to speak, and cursed the day he was born. He said, "May the day I was born perish, and the night when they said, a boy is conceived. If only that day had turned to darkness, may God above not care about it, or light shine on it. May darkness and gloom reclaim it, and a cloud settle over it. May an eclipse of the sun terrify it, if only darkness had taken that night away. May it not appear among the days of the year, or be listed in the calendar. Yes, may that night be barren, may no joyful shout be heard in it. Let those who curse certain days cast a spell on it, those who are skilled in rousing Leviathan. May its morning stars grow dark, may it wait for daylight, but have none. May it not see the breaking of dawn, for the night did not shut the doors of my mother's womb, and hide sorrows from my eyes. Why was I not stillborn? Why didn't I die as I came from the womb? Why did the knees receive me, and why were the breasts for me to nurse? Now I would certainly be lying down in peace. I would be asleep. Then I would be at rest with the kings and counselors of the earth, who rebuilt ruined cities for themselves, or with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver, Or why was I not hidden like a miscarried child, like infants who never see daylight, that ere the wicked cease to make trouble, and there the weary find rest? The captives are completely at ease. They do not hear the voice of their oppressor. Both small and great are there, and the slave is set free from his master. Why is light given to one burdened with grief, and life to those whose existence is bitter, who wait for death, but it does not come, and search for it more than for hidden treasure, who are filled with much joy and are glad when they reach the grave? Why is life given to a man whose path is hidden, whom God has hedged in? I sigh when food is put before me, and my groans pour out like water, for the thing I feared has overtaken me, and what I dreaded has happened to me. I cannot relax or be still. I have no rest, for trouble comes. So his response was his when Job finally spoke after a week, and I can only imagine that week he spent tearing through his mind trying to figure out what was happening. I can only imagine him trying to weed out the bad thoughts of what was happening in his head. Because that's what I personally need to do in my own. I need to weed out the bad thoughts and sort through what's really happening. So I'm gonna try and go through this and break this down. The first thing he does is curse the day he was born, and that's really what most of this whole section is him cursing the day he was born. But the way he curses it, he talks about light and darkness. He wants that day to be shadowed in darkness. May darkness and gloom reclaim it. May an eclipse of the sun terrify it. If only darkness had taken that night away. May it not, like, he does, like, just the date, why did he have to be born? Pretty much. Um, um, Verse 8 confuses me. Let those who curse certain days cast a spell on it. Those who are skilled in rousing a leviathan. If I go to the back of my Bible, because it has all these, somewhere. Oh, bullet notes. Or twisting one, a mythological sea serpent or dragon associated with chaos at creation. Sometimes it is applied to an animal, such as a crocodile. So, something to do with chaos. So I guess that means who are skilled in creating chaos. I think, okay. Those who curse certain days cast a spell on it. Those are skilled. He's just affirming what he already said. He wants that day to just suck. Like, he wants his, like, the day of his birth to be just as bad as what he's going through right now. That's what it seems to me is he's asking why was his life so good, only to turn to this amount of sorrow. Why was he not stillborn? Why didn't he die? Like why is his life bad now? Pretty much. Why hasn't it been bad all along? And he's saying at least if that had happened, he would be at peace. He would be asleep, living with like awesome people, as he says, kings and counselors of the earth who rebuilt organizations, princes who had gold, filled their houses with silver. Again, he asks why it was like not hidden like a miscarried child, someone who never sees daylight. Because at least those people, there's no wicked there, there's no, and we are able to find rest in death, essentially. Um, slave gets freed. Like, pretty much, why isn't he dead? Why isn't he in a better place right now? Because death would certainly be better than what he's going through. This last section, so verse 20 through 26, trying to understand it. Why is light given to one burdened with grief, and life to those whose existence is bitter? I think what he's saying is his life has not been bad at all. He's had a very blessed life, and he had a blessed life because he was not a sinful man, and when he did sin, he repented immediately. He understood how dangerous sin was, and so that's why his life was so blessed. But he's wondering why someone who's blessed as much as he was gets cast into such turmoil. Um, and he says, "For the thing I feared has overtaken me." And so he's just upset because he was afraid he would lose it all one day. And he has now. He gets no rest, for trouble comes. So I think Job's response is just, why did he have to go through this? Why was there no hint that his life would be bad? Why was his life good and then it turned out bad? Why? That seems to be his response to me, and it is very hard to understand. Um, so a very interesting response to what happened. But it is good to remember he did not curse God, he cursed the day he was born. Um, he's not mad at God, he's just confused. And he's trying to make sense of what's happening. So, tomorrow I will be going over how tomorrow Eliphaz will speak in chapter 4, and we're only gonna see half of his speech. I might just do the whole speech. I might, instead of going chapter by chapter, I might go section by section. That way I'm not cutting the speech up. So, yeah, so tomorrow Eliphaz will speak, and he'll give a speech, and then Job will reply the day after that. And we will go from that. And that, obviously, Bill, that'll go next. Okay? So I hope that you enjoy these videos. I'm going to try and keep up with the day by day. It's hard. It is definitely hard. So, also look out. I'm going to try and make some other videos, not necessarily Bible videos, but I had a sort of a epiphany last night, and I'd like to talk about it. So yeah, that's that. Have a good day.